Hi everyone, my Hexe here again, personally here in the flesh once again, just to do a Danganronpa 2 review as a bonus, as I'm trying to do a tradition of, at least for the Danganronpa game, since there is too much to look into them. Okay, so since in Danganronpa 2 Goodbye Despair there is no alternative ending, as far as I know, um, I'm instead of doing a reaction video, I'm going to do two things. One, I'm going to review the story, and I'm going to rank all the characters. So I will try to be as summarized as possible because I don't believe anyone is really interested in what I have to say about this. And also, as you can see, I tried to do a little bit of a closet cosplay of Gundam with what I have, obviously as a closet cosplay, with what I have in hand at my home. Just for you to know, I'm really hot. I'm sweating because the the weather is hot, and this is not helping. Um, but anyway, first let's start with my opinion of Danganronpa 2. Yes, definitely it is better than Danganronpa 1 in the sense of the story, I believe. The mechanics of the game, I am not a fan of. I believe everything, the mechanics of like the mini games, the hangman's gambit, um, the bullet times, and that, that that mechanics of the trials, I think were way more complex than the first game, and it didn't need to be more difficult. What I did like, it was introduction of the logic type. It was actually cool. I'm not good at it, but honestly, I'm not good at anything that requires good hand coordination. Um, so um, I even so even so I didn't like the mechanics of the trials in this game. I did like the trials way more than in the first game. In the first game, they were quite easy. I mean, first trial being Leon the culprit, super easy. At least for hearing accident, that we could read Leon upside down super easily instead of numbers. Then, for example, the second trial of the first game, it doesn't count because it's a mess. You cannot. It's really mostly impossible to solve um, without previous clues. Then the tier one is super easy to know that Celeste was the one behind everything. The fourth one also really easy to know that Sakura committed suicide, and so on and so on. In this game, I believe it was a little bit way more difficult to conclude who were the culprits in the first glance. For example, in the first trial, I had no idea who had killed Byakuya until until the middle of the trial. Mm, and it wasn't. I didn't feel cheated like in the second trial of the first game, that they give you a lot of clues, that it may be one person, but the game decides that it's not that person, it's just to confuse you, and the real culprit is another one. And this time in the first trial, it was like, no, this these persons look suspicious, but there is no certain clue that it was them, and everything in the end, yeah, do make sense that the culprit is Teru. So that's why I don't feel cheated by the times I didn't get the culprit at the first glance in Danganronpa 2, because I think the story was more cohesive. It had more, um, I don't know, like it made more sense that the trials made more sense. I think the reasoning behind them also made a little bit more of sense than in the first one. Or, well, not that in the first one, than the second trial of the first one. Um, because in this second game, it was way more difficult to know who the culprit was, as I was telling you. The only time I got right the first glance, it was in the cheer trial, that it was Mikan's case, because I mean it was obvious for me that okay, no one than Mikan can do this in this time frame, and she's I like her. She's one of my favorite characters, but this is one of these characters that looks so innocent that you know they have a bad side, something like that. Um, so to be honest, I still don't get Junko's plan overall. Um, and I'm going to repeat an opinion that I have from my review of the first game. What the heck is the goal with Junko? I mean, uh, I found it really stupid in the first game. I kind of find it still stupid in the second game. Like, I understand that it may be some kind of cult, but cults are not so widespread. Maybe even your major religion in the world. I don't know which will be the. I don't know if it's Christianism, Judaism. Well, I guess Judaism is not. Christianism or maybe Islamism. I don't know. I don't know which religion has the most advocates in the world, but even even those big religions do not have the support of the 100% of the population of any country, let alone the entire world. So for me, it's really difficult to believe that a small group of high schoolers um, started a cult around Junko and went around and made everybody part of their cult, or even growing to this fucking big organization that can control everything in the world. Like I know you may be telling, no, but this religion does this in real life. Open your eyes, you chipple, or something like that. But I don't know. I'm not a conspiranoid myself, but I think that even the biggest religions in the world are not that powerful as they are making um, the the what do they call them? Uh, the ultimate despair group to be. So I don't know. I don't know if I am explaining myself. Like I am trying to process the fact that they are making this group of people like the most powerful people in the world, and that they basically destroy the world and that kind of stuff. So that's why I'm really interested in knowing more about the characters of this second game. Something that I didn't really feel like with the characters of the first game. Why? Because basically you know everything about the characters of the first game. They are just high schoolers that sadly were trapped in their school and were forcefully were forced to commit assassinations and that kind of stuff, because of this weird mind of Junko. But their personality was basically more or less the same as the one they had. I know that, for example, There were friendships among them that um, were not shown in the main game of the first Danganronpa. For example, that Celeste was actually real good friends with Hifumi, for example. Um, that is like a sad, but in the end, you still get a glimpse of the whole personality of these guys. Like there's no more. You know that there were friendship among them in before they had their memories removed, but it's no there's nothing much to learn about them. But in this case, learning that these people are the ultimate despairs because they have committed so much crimes and they have made the ultimate despair organization so big. Is like holy shit. I want to know exactly what each of them did to become part of the ultimate um, despair. I don't know. I forgot the word that I just used like 3 seconds ago. But yeah, for example, what the fuck did Mahiru did as the ultimate despair? Honestly, I really cannot think of anything that Mahiru could have done as the ultimate despair. I'm sorry, Mahiru, but because, for example, I'll try to put a picture, but the scene that shocked me the most, and that was the biggest plot twist for me, is exactly when they reveal that these people are actually the ultimate despairs. But the specific scene where they show that one of them, what did you say? Uh, I don't know what was the first one, but one of them um, gave their parents as a sacrifice. Let me open the image just so I can uh, talk a little bit further into that scene because it was really shocking. I will try to put the image in the final recording, so I don't know if you're able to see it. But basically, this scene where uh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, where we are shown five ultimate despairs doing different things. Um, I was shocked because they say, okay, the first image, there is this corpse, basically skin and bones, long haired skin and bones, saying that they starve them to death, just, I don't know, in honor to Yunko. I don't know how that works, but I don't know, logic. Danganronpa's logic. And that one, for some reason, and I don't know, once I saw the body, the first one that came into my mind was Ibuki. Also, the reason, I don't know. Freaking, I don't know. Okay, and then the second picture that they show is a couple that is like kidnapped. They have uh, rope around them and bandages on their faces so they cannot talk or speak or anything. So they are completely immobilized. And the text in that picture is that someone gave up their parents as sacrifices for Junko. And at first, I thought that it was Hiyoko because you can see a shadow over the couple and it has like this round um, shadow over the head. It has two bumps here over the head. I thought, oh, this is Hiyoko's ponytails. These are Hiyoko's ponytails. But after talking about this scene with the friend that recommended me the game, he told me, no, but if you look closely, it is more like a Monokuma mask. it's like the ears of a Monokuma head or mask or whatever. And I'm like, oh, you know what? You are freaking right. Those are not ponytails. Those are the ears of a Monokuma costume. But I still, even so, I still think that Hiyoko is the one that gave up her parents to as human sacrifices for some reason. Uh, since she said she's not that close to her parents because she was raised by her grandmother. I will profundize into that later. But that is my first thought. Maybe I'm not right, but I don't know. Then we have a third picture with someone wielding a gun against a lot of people. And since this person has like a beanie hat or something like that over their head, and since a gun something like mechanic, my first thought was soda. I don't know, poor soda. I'm not sure if that's you, but you are the only one I can think of. Then the one that I'm for sure he is the one being talked about. It's Fuyuhiko. We have this image of a man that transfer the eye one of Junko's eye. He transferred into their own eye socket, and I know for sure that is Fuyuhiko because the allegory of the eye patch in the simulation, it's, I mean, just you put two and two together and you have Fuyuhiko. And at that point I was really like, oh my god, that's so fucked up. But then they show us this last picture, that the picture itself is not really worrisome, but the text says that, and not just that, some even tried to have children with Junko's dead body. That was my okay, okay, what the fuck? This is way, way too much. And if you saw that part of my gameplay, you will know that I was so scared that that was Gundam. I the night I recorded that part of the gameplay. I couldn't go to sleep without learning if that was indeed Gundam or not, because Gundam being my favorite character of the game, and after his death, where he goes to heaven and I was crying rivers for him, knowing that he did something like that, I was absolutely disgusted. And I assume it was Gundam because Gundam is the ultimate breeder, and someone tried to have children with Junko's dead body. Who better than uh, the best, the ultimate breeder, right? But, but I learned. Well, I learned this after I beat the game because I didn't want to spoil myself too much. I that night when I filmed, or sorry, when I recorded that part of the gameplay, I went to Danganronpa's wiki to check what it said about Gundams being the ultimate despair, and it basically said there's no exact details about what he did as the ultimate despair. And I'm like, okay, that's weird. I will have guessed that they would have mentioned that part um, of trying to have children with Junko's dead body. So I just said, okay, I'm still not sure, but let's not think about this for now because I really don't want my dear Gundam to be that one. And then, spoiler alert, I learned that this translation uh, of the game. I don't know if there's only one translation, that is the one that is in Steam. I don't know if there did another translation for other versions of the game, but at least this English version of the game that is loaded on Steam, specifically that part is not actually correct in its translation. According to what I read, it says the Japanese version, that is obviously the original version, says that someone indeed tried to use Junko's organs to have children, but this actually means that there was a person who tried to transplant Junko's uterus to her own body and tried to have children use Junko's reproductive organs to call it something. And that person, well, I don't know if it's confirmed or not, but if that's the case, that person will be Mikan. And I can totally see that. For my mind, is easier to understand Mikan trying to do something as weird and as stupid as that than Gundam trying to procreate with a dead body. I mean, you can't procreate with a dead body, but I can more or less understand the logic behind. Okay, if I get the reproductive organs of the corpse and transplant them into myself and into a living body, maybe I will have the the offspring that I will have will be Junko's offspring because it's made with her own eggs and that kind of stuff. I don't know. It's really weird logic going on there. But I am so glad that I read that because I I wouldn't be able to forgive the creators if they made Gundam that kind of person. So okay, enough about this. The thing is, I think that the plot twist this time, being that these people are not just high schoolers, but the fact that they are actually in a virtual reality and that they are actually the ultimate despairs. Well, specifically, the fact that they are the ultimate despairs, it was like, holy shit, that's fucked up. I love it. And because that that like made me imagine a lot of things like, oh my god, for example, I can totally see Fuyuhiko at the ultimate despair. I mean, Yakuza, okay, yeah, and Peko also because of her relationship with Fuyuhiko. Um, Hiyoko, she also has a rotten personality. Mikan, obviously, there there are some people that are really obvious that they could become the ultimate despair. Others that are not so clear. For example, my biggest example is what was her name? Uh, what's her name? The redhead. I forgot her name. Sorry. Um, Mahiru. Sorry, Mahiru. For example, what the heck will she have done as the ultimate despair? What could have led her to be the ultimate despair? That kind of stuff. Um, so I did think that the twist of this game is better than the twist of the first game, and overall the story. But for example, the twist about the main character, Makoto, no, sorry, thinking about Makoto, Hinata. Is Hinata Nagiko? No, Hinata Hajime. Sorry, I finished the game like a month ago. I just had so much to do in my life that I So much time has passed since I beat the game. Um, well, the twist that actually Hajime is this. I don't remember the name, but it's like a reincarnation of the founder and the ultimate hope and this project of Hope's Peak Academy. It was. I still find it quite weird that I hope I can find a little bit more about that in the next installments of this series because it was like okay, it's a little bit kind of out of nowhere, or that is still my perception right now. Maybe if I have more information, I'll say okay, this makes sense. But right now it was like why? Uh, that is just so outrageous. I don't know. It's just so unexpected, and it kind of doesn't make sense to me. But okay, I hope I can learn more about that in the future. Um, and Junko being again the antagonist or the main villain. Um, I don't know. I not sure if I like that, but I do agree that it makes sense. The whole story overall does make sense, at least in the way it was presented. So I won't I won't be talking too much about that because, as I told you, I'm not really comfortable being of Junko being again the main antagonist because she was already dead. We killed her. Well, she killed herself on the first game, and having her as a virtual omnipresence is just I don't know. It was a little bit underwhelming. I don't know. Like I was expecting another antagonist, but again, the fact that these guys are actually um, allies of Yunko as the group known as the Ultimate Despair, that was really cool. And it does make sense that they try to make Junko win and have copies of herself spread around the world. Mm, sorry. Um, and that is another thing I don't get. Why have copies of yourself just running around? I don't get that plan. I don't know. That's part of the plan that makes me think it's a little bit stupid, but I don't know. So, in the end, I will wrap it up because nobody is going to be interested enough about my opinions for so long. I do find Danganronpa to be a better game overall, especially story wise, than the first game. But still, the first game is really good. Okay, I just think that both the story and the characters are better in Danganronpa 2. Um, Especially because now I am even more interested in the Danganronpa universe than when I finished the first game. When I finished the first game, my only question was, okay, did these guys made it? Are these guys alive? Did these guys were dead like 5 seconds after they stepped out of the school? What? Um, and this game had uh, mm, had made me question way more things about the Danganronpa universe. Like, okay, uh, what the fuck was going on at Hope's Peak Academy? How the heck Junko get so many people to join her cast? Again, I still have a theory like this is something that could be uh, controlled, like the spreading of a virus. as it was done in, I know it was in a virtual world, but as it was done on the third chapter of this game, and kind of stuff. Also, I want to know everything about each one of these guys, what led them to be the ultimate despairs, what they did as the ultimate despairs. I'm really interested now. Way more interested about Danganronpa universe than I did at the end of the first game. Again, okay. Um, and by the time this releases, most probably I will. I am already playing the next installment of the Danganronpa series. I'm going to play this uh, Danganronpa Girls Ultimate something. I don't know, the one about the girls. That is a little bit of a spin-off. Because I was told that it does answer some of my questions, not all of them, but it does. It is canon. All that is in that game is canon, and it does answer some questions. So I'm going to play it. I'm not good at shooters. I'm telling you right now. Um, so it will be what it will be. I just want answers, and I will be also playing the third game. But first, I will take. Right now, I'm taking a little break of Danganronpa because they are so much. Basically, that's it. They are so much. I need to stop a little bit, breathe some new airs. I am currently finishing, or I'm working on other ongoing projects that you will be seeing by this time. By the time this video is posted, you will already be seeing some of these projects in my channel and announcements. So yeah, right now I'm in the middle of a pause from Danganronpa series. I will retake them after I finish some of my other projects, but there will still be more Danganronpa content in this channel. Take that for sure. So right now, let's go to the second part of this video, and let's do a character tier list. Simple and quicker and easier, and I won't be just rambling without any guide or something as I did in my first um, in my review of the first game. So let's move quickly, and first one we have Akane. Akane for me is a B tier character because I define her backstory more or less interesting. She came from a poor upbringing. Um, it seems like a lot of nasty things happened to her. People used to grope her, abuse, even I think abused her in many ways. Um, and I don't know if to call it stupidness, obliviousness, uh, innocence, or what about her not, or ignorance. I think it will be more like ignorance of what was going on because she even calls the penis the front tail, and I'm like, Akane, what's going on? What happened to you? And she talks about so many things, and that part of her I do find interesting to learn more about. But she's basically, other than that, she's basically just a I love food and I punch character. There, like there's nothing more to her character in the actuality, but I do want to know about her backstory. Okay, progressing. We have Chiaki Nanami. She is S tier, no, double S tier, because she's basically the daughter of, of my dear Shihiro. Um, and yeah, and you didn't notice if you saw my gameplay that I did make the relation about she being connected to Shihiro, and I was real, and that is something that real screw up my logic during the game because I was like, if Shihiro is a daughter of, sorry, if Chiaki is the daughter of Shihiro, then what the fuck is the timeline? Are these guys like the offspring of the characters of the first game, or what's going on? And it turns out like more or less, yeah, Shihiro, sorry, Chiaki is the daughter of Chihiro, but because she's also an a virtual entity, she's not a real person, and she's really kind. Even though if she was the spy or whatever you want to call it, um, she wasn't the good side of his story. She's a good entity, and she was actually she took really good care of us, even if in the last chapter her lines were kind of corny and everything. her her execution was pretty cool too, and she took good care of us in the fourth chapter when we were about to enter the final death room, and she combines us not to. I like her. Yeah, she's cool. Then we had the fake Byakuya. I'll put him in C. Why? Because one, he's not the real Byakuya. And I already dislike the real Byakuya. um, the fact that this person is the ultimate imposter, we actually don't know anything about this person, not even the gender. I cannot call that person him or her. I need to call them because we don't know anything, and that's cool. But at the same time, it kind of makes me care less of this character. Like, okay, then you're a blank page. That's it. I know that the ultimate this person, the ultimate what did it's called? What did I call it just 3 seconds ago? Um, no, this person, impersonator. I don't know. Um, is lonely because of his talent, their talent. Sorry. Mm, I mean, I get it. I understand it, but still, I don't care at all. And it was a good what is called that? It was a cool reveal or plot twist. The fact that this was not a real Byakuya, because I never it that thought never crossed my mind in the whole playthrough. Uh, Up until that point, I was still convinced that this was a real Byakuya. Um, and that's why I was thinking so much like, okay, but if this is the real Byakuya, then my theory about this being the offspring is wrong because blah 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 blah. In the end, in the end, none, neither of those two speculations were true. That this was the real Byakuya, and that these people were the offspring of the people of the first game. That happens. So that's funny. Okay, we have ourselves or Hajime. I'll put us in B also. I think I like Makoto better. I think. I don't know. Because, yeah, the Hajime does come a little bit more aggressive, and the twist that he was actually a rat lab for the experiment of Hope Speak Academy. I just told you it was a plot twist that was really, for me, out of nowhere, that I need more information to understand. And I don't know. I think it was. a good character as not as a protagonist, but as the character we control, an avatar to call it something. I think it was a good character for that, but I don't know. There's not too much uh, for him as for, well, I will say like I kind of it's kind of sad and pathetic that if it's true that he was so interested or so in love with Hope's Peak Academy to accept to be treated as a lab rat. That is sad, pathetic, and all the other um, adjectives you want to use. So, I am not a big fan of Hajime, but I also don't think he's really bad. Okay, then Ibuki. I'm sorry. Be it fictional characters or in real life people, I cannot go along with high energy people. They stress me so much. And I know high energy people that are really good people, and I'm like, good for you. I respect you. I don't hate you, but I don't want to be around you. It's I don't have anything against you personally, but it's just that your high energy drains me, like physically drains my energy or something like that. I hate that kind of characters, but in fictional and in real life, I don't know. That is just that is just my own personality, and I'm sorry if you're a high energy person. Okay then, Fuyuhiko. I will also put Fuyuhiko on B because I don't, he has a good redemption within the game or the story of the game. But you can see from the first chapter that he's not that much of a bad guy because uh, when the fake Byakuya is throwing the party, he he was seen looking around trying to also get into the party. He wants to be part of the group. It's just his Yakuza side is so ingrained into him, and he feels that way. And well, I do understand him. He's a fucking Yakuza. That's his way of life. So mm, I don't know. I don't think that was. I don't think it was um, so much of a change in him. It was more like he finally, after the second chapter, after the death of Peko, he started to be more honest with other people. He um, stopped. Um, he stopped trying to what you say? How do you say that? To not reveal his real thoughts, his real desires, and to have this image of a tough yakuza. He was just one of them in the end, and he knew it. All he knew it from the beginning. It's just that after the second chapter, he tries to be more honest. Okay, Mahiru. Mahiru for me is D because I honestly don't have anything against her, but also I don't care. I don't care about her. I find Mahiru very bland, a very bland character. I don't know if I'm missing something. I think I didn't finish her free time talks. Um, I I uh, I missed like only the complete free talk times of about three or four characters, and my hero was one of them. So I don't know if there's more background about her, but what I know about her from the main game, it's totally bland, and she is sexist. She's telling the boys all the time that that is something a boy shouldn't do it. You need to be more brave or more courageous or more something. That's sexist, my hero. That is freaking sexist from your part, and I do not like that. So yeah, just in D. Then Mikan. Mikan for me is A. I do find her interesting, and the fact she has very or many small details on her personality that makes her a complete character, and I find her really interesting. And plus add the fact that she tried to put the Junko's uterus onto herself to have Junko's children. She's crazy. She's freaking crazy. She's balls. Uh, but that's really cool. And you can see how a character that was bullied enough could turn that way. I mean, there are many ways you can turn out after being bullied. You can turn out into a good person, you can turn out into a shitty person, and you can turn out into a very crazy bitch, like Mikan is. So I find Mikan very interesting, and honestly, yeah, I like her so much. Then we have freaking Nagito freaking Komaeda. I was told there are many Nagitos apologists in the fandom, and I'm sorry, but I am not part of them. He is fucking insane. I did get his free time talks, all of them. Uh, I know what happened to his parents, what happened to him. So I still think he's bonkers. And at least not in a funny way like Mikan. He's just, I don't know. It was so it was so desperating. This is, I don't know if that's a word in English, but it was it really irked me the way he acted once he knew that Hajime was not an ultimate. He was part of the reserve course. Like, my God, this this is an asshole. And I get that he started to began to act like that because he learned that all of us were ultimate despairs. But still, he even before he knew that, he was so bonkers. And you, if you saw my gameplay, you knew that I was so freaking happy when he died. I, I I don't even feel bad about that. About me being happy that he died. He's a fictional character, so he's pixels. So nah, I'm sorry. I cannot I cannot agree with Nagito's way of thinking. Nah, I'm sorry. For me, he's just bonkers. Then we have Nekomaru. Nekomaru, I'll also put him in C. And I think I will get a lot of backlash for this because Nekomaru is indeed a good character, and I'm actually curious about what he what did he do as an ultimate despair, and also what led him to be a ultimate despair, because in the game we see him with a very kind heart, just as my friend said. The only thing bigger than Nekomaru's heart is his bulge, or his package, whatever you want to call it. But and and that's also something I'm really mad about. When he changed into a robot, they destroyed that package. I'm really mad about that. Um, so yeah, we have this very, very, very good guy. So I can. This is one of the person I really cannot see as a despair, ultimate despair. But some way he ended like that, and I want to know why. But what I'm putting him in C, I think it's mostly because he's really, I don't know if open is the word, but he makes a lot of uh, I don't know if that word also exists in English, but uh, well, toilet. Let's call it toilet jokes. And I'm not really good with that kind of humor. I really dislike that kind of humor. So that's why if Nekomaru wasn't as a good character, I mean good intended character, and what he was only spewing toilet jokes here and there, I will put him like in F tier. But since he was a really good person, uh, I'm putting him on Z. Okay, then Peko Yama. I actually going to put her on A. Why an A? May you ask? I also think it's a little bit higher than it should be, but I really like her, even if she only was for two chapters in the game. I was really moved um, on the second chapter and her relationship with Fuyuhiko. Uh, Neither of them admitting that they were in love with each other, and the plan that Peko had to try to convince Monokuma that she was a tool, not a human. So everyone else but no, who will have survived? Oh yeah, Fuyuhiko. Convinced that Fuyuhiko was a mastermind and she was only a tool, so Fuyuhiko will get to live and everyone else will die. I mean, she was ready to sacrifice herself and everyone else just to make sure her Obochan, or also maybe her love interest, will meet it out of the island. I can respect that. I can respect that. I mean, obviously, that's fucked up, and I will not agree that in real life, but we are talking about fictional character, guys, so I respect that in here. So I like you, Peko Yama. Also, her name is funny, the pronounce. Hiyoko, this bitch. Hmm. I will rank her in D, but um, the reason for being in D is quite opposite to why my hero is in D. It's not because she's a boring character. It's the opposite. I think she's one of the most intriguing characters, or the ones that have that have most of my attention in the game because she's a sweet little girl, but with a very nasty personality, and that's the reason why she is in the her fucking nasty personality. And it looked like she was trying to have a redemption like Fuyuhiko, but it was cut because she was killed by Mikan. But even so, I don't know if that's true that she was trying to have some kind of redemption, but I don't like her. She was pretty shitty. Even the free time talks, she was really shitty. Like, she told us her backstory and everything, and then suddenly she was like, "You believe all of that? You fucking stupid bitch. Just do my errands and kiss my feet." Like, come on, bitch. You're not that good. I don't know. She pissed me off a lot of times. So that's why she's the for me. For me. Okay. We have Sonia then. Sonia is actually one of my S characters because she's awesome and she's the only one that took my dear Gundam seriously. And I freaking love it. No, now that I'm thinking more about her, let's move her to SS Tire with Chiaki. Uh, because for many times I actually thought that Sonia was the culprit and that she also had ill intentions, but wow, in the end, she was one of the survivors and never committed a crime. And she was really intelligent the whole time, even though she came from another country and was not culturally adapted to the rest of the people. Um, she was one of the only ones who had brain in this whole thing. And, and she's a love interest of my dear Gundam, and I do like the ship. So, yeah, Sonia, waifu. And the fact that she admitted to, I don't know if masturbating or if it was a putty joke, and admitting that she was not a virgin, yeah, that's pretty cool to me. Okay, then Soda, Kazuichi Soda. I'm sorry, dude. Fucking hate you. He was a fucking stalker. He was a fucking crybaby. Many times we would have been dead because of him. The only time he was useful was when he um what do you call that? When I even forgot the word in my main language. Repair. When he repair. Why did I forget that word? When he repaired the elevator on the fourth chapter. That's the only. That's the only time I think he was useful. Other than that, oh my god, this guy is creepy. Creepy in the sense like he's a fucking stalker to Sonia. And he was nasty and didn't have a lot of input, to be honest, in the whole game. I really wished that I could change places of Soda, um, being one of the last survivors, for Gundam, to be honest. I would have preferred that way more than the final result. But, well, you can have everything you want in life. Then, my dear Gundam, you gone triple S tire. I know. Gundam is nuts. I know. All these creations of his mind that he is like a villain, uh, like a cartoon villain. It's actually like a very cartoonish villain. I find it in real life. I will find it creepy, but since we are talking about fictional characters, I find it cute. Um, the fact that he's the ultimate breeder, hilarious to me. And the fact that he keeps his four dark zivas of destruction inside his clothes, hilarious to me also. The fact that he sacrificed himself in order to others, to have others live and not die from starvation. You have my gratitude, my friend. The fact that he actually never denies that he was the one that actually killed Nekomaru. He does try to. He never says, no, I didn't do it. He tries to um, not put the blame on anyone else, but to avoid, to more or less avoid confirming it. I think that will be a more accurate representation of what his trial was, because he said it himself. It's no use. It's really pathetic to just give up on life. So he wouldn't give the answer so fast and say, yes, I was the one to kill Nekomaru. He actually tried to. not be seen as a culprit so early, but also when we reached the conclusion that it was Gundam, he was like, yeah, maybe I was it, maybe. And he actually said, I am the ultimate weapon. So he admitted to his crime very early in the trial. But he actually had consent from Nekomaru for killing each other. So he's not a bad person. He obviously, if you kill a person, is bad, but he freaking went out of his way and more or less asked by his own standards, Nekomaru into a death duel just to have their friends to to eat to release their friends from the hell of starvation. And I found that really honorable. Gundam is hilarious. I love his when he becomes shy with Sonya, um, and he's funny. And also, the little detail that I liked was in the second chapter when freaking Soda was being so gross, and we had a lot of fan service of the girls in swimsuits. We talked with Gundam, and he had a line telling us like, "Why did you not invite me?" And we say something along the lines of, "Oh, it's just that we think that you wouldn't be interested in that kind of stuff." And he was like, "Oh, you think that?" Like he actually was interested in that. He wanted to come with us. I also found that specific line. I find it hilarious. My God. And final, in the final spot, my least favorite character, freaking, what was your name? Stupid bunch of shit. Teru Teru. Yeah, freaking Teru Teru. I'm sorry, but what can I say? He's fucking awful. Yeah, he loves his mom. Him? Oh, he's so disgusting. He's sexualized everything. He actually tried to spike us in our free time talks. What the fuck, man? What the fuck? No, if Soda is a creep, this way is in another league. So I'm very glad he was the first one dead. I'm sorry, my friend, but no, you are not my friend. Sorry, you fucking dude, but you deserve it. And you cannot even in his trial, he tried to sound like I did it because I tried to save you guys from fucking Nagito. He's crazy, and it's again um, like in the first chapter of the first game. Leon used a very similar argument. Like, I killed her because she tried to kill me first. I was just defending myself. But Leon went out of his way to actually go back into his room, take the toolkit, and open the door to kill Sayaka when he was actually when he could have just returned to his room when he was out of danger and just leave things like that. But no, he went out of his way to kill Sayaka. And in Teruteru's case, it was also something similar. He knew that fucking Nagito was crazy and was trying to get someone killed. He should have go to Byakuya or anybody else and they'll, hey, fucking Nagito is planning this. Let's plan something. Let's do something. Not, oh, I will take this opportunity and I will kill him so I can be the good guy in the end, even if everyone else is killed in the process, but I still will be the good guy because I tried to stop the murder first, and I will be able to be released from here and go back to my mama. No, you are not a good guy. That is the logic of a good guy, TM, but you are not a real good guy. So yeah, that's basically it, guys. I'm sorry I took a whole hour. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. Uh, Thank you so much for if you made it until the end. Thank you so much. You're crazy, but if you like my babbling, that's good enough for me. So I will be seeing you guys in the next project, also the next Danganronpa, whatever you are into, and I will keep you updated on my next projects. So thank you so much. I hope you were somehow entertained with this video, and I will go because I'm sweating like a sinner in a church. Uh, I need to get this off me. So thank you guys, and bye.